The Carpathian Mountains. The Carpathians are a mountain range system forming an arc roughly 1,500 kilometers long across Central Europe, into Eastern, and in Southeastern Europe, making them the second longest mountain range in Europe. They provide the habitat for the largest European populations of brown bears, wolves, chamois and lynxes, with the highest concentration in Romania, as well as over one-third of all European plant species. The Carpathians and the foothills also have many thermal and mineral waters, with Romania having one-third of the European total. Romania is likewise home to the largest surface of virgin forests in Europe, totaling 250,000 hectares, most of them in the Carpathians, with the Southern Carpathians constituting Europe's largest unfragmented forested area. The Carpathians consist of a chain of mountain ranges that stretch in an arc from the Czech Republic in the northwest through Slovakia, Poland, Hungary and Ukraine to Romania in the east and on to the iron gates of the Danube River between Romania and Serbia in the south. The highest range within the Carpathians is the Tatras, on the border of Slovakia and Poland, where the highest peaks exceed 2,600 meters. The second highest range is the Southern Carpathians in Romania, where the highest peaks exceed 2,500 meters. The divisions of the Carpathians are usually in three major sections: Western Carpathians, Czech Republic, Poland, and Slovakia; Eastern Carpathians, Southeastern Poland, Eastern Slovakia, Ukraine, Romania; Southern Carpathians, Romania, Serbia. The term Outer Carpathians is frequently used to describe the northern rim of the Western and Eastern Carpathians. The most important cities in and near the Carpathians are Bratislava and Košice in Slovakia, Kraków in Poland, Cluj-Napoca, Sibiu and Brasov in Romania, and Uzhhorod in Ukraine. Name. In modern times, the range is called Carpaty in Czech, Polish, Slovak and in Ukrainian, Carpaty in Romanian, Carpathen in German and Dutch, Carpatok in Hungarian, and Carpaty in Serbian. Although the toponym was recorded already by Ptolemy in the 2nd century CE, the modern form of the name is a neologism in most languages. For instance, Havasok was its medieval Hungarian name, whereas and Romanian chronicles referred to it as Hungarian Mountains. Other sources, such as Dimitri Cantemir in the Italian chronicler Giovanni Andrea Gromo, referred to the range as Transylvania's mountains, while the 17th century historian Constantine Cantacuzino translated the name of the mountains in an Italian-Romanian glossary to Romanian mountains. The name Carpates may ultimately be from the Proto-Indo-European root **sker**, from which comes the Albanian word carp, and the Slavic word skala, perhaps of Iridatian cognate which meant mountain, rock, or rugged. The archaic Polish word karpa meant rugged irregularities, underwater obstacles, rocks, rugged roots or trunks. The more common word scarpa means a sharp cliff or other vertical terrain. The name may instead come from Indo-European *werp, to turn, akin to Old English wheel fan, to turn, change, and Greek kappa alpha rho pi omicron sigma carpos, wrist, perhaps referring to the way the mountain range bends or veers in an L shape. In late Roman documents, the Eastern Carpathian Mountains were referred to as Montes Sarmatici. The Western Carpathians were called Carpates, a name that is first recorded in Ptolemy's Geographia. In the Scandinavian Hervarar saga, which relates ancient Germanic legends about battles between Goths and Huns, the name Carpates appears in the predictable Germanic form as Harvarthafjorlum. Inter Alps Hunia Iotianum Est Polonia, by Gervase of Tilbury, has described in his Otia Imperialia in 1211. 13th to 15th century Hungarian documents named the mountains Thorchal, Tarchal, less frequently Montes Navium. Geography. The northwestern Carpathians begin in southern Poland. They surround Transcarpathia and Transylvania in a large semicircle, sweeping towards the southeast, and end on the Danube near Orsovo in Romania. The total length of the Carpathians is over 1,500 kilometers and the mountain chain's width varies between 12 and 500 kilometers. The highest altitudes of the Carpathians occur where they are widest. The system attains its greatest breadth in the Transylvanian Plateau and in the southern Tatra Mountains group, the highest range, in which Szylokovski Stet in Slovakia is the highest peak at 2,655 meters above sea level. The Carpathians cover an area of 190,000 square kilometers and, after the Alps, form the next most extensive mountain system in Europe. Although commonly referred to as a mountain chain, the Carpathians do not actually form an uninterrupted chain of mountains. Rather, they consist of several orographically and geologically distinctive groups, presenting as great of structural variety as the Alps. The Carpathians, which attain an altitude of over 2,500 meters in only a few places, lack the bold peaks, extensive snowfields, large glaciers, high waterfalls, and numerous large lakes that are common in the Alps. It was believed that no area of the Carpathian range was covered in snow all year round and there were no glaciers, but recent research by Polish scientists discovered one permafrost and glacial area in the Tatra Mountains. The Carpathians at the highest altitude are only as high as the middle region of the Alps, with which they share a common appearance, climate, and flora. The Carpathians are separated from the Alps by the Danube. The two ranges meet at only one point, the Letha Mountains at Bratislava. The river also separates them from the Balkan Mountains at Orsovo in Romania. The valley of the March and Oder separates the Carpathians from the Silesian and Moravian chains, which belong to the middle wing of the Great Central Mountain System of Europe. Unlike the other wings of the system, the Carpathians, which form the watershed between the northern seas and the Black Sea, are surrounded on all sides by plains, namely the Pannonian Plain to the southwest, the plain of the Lower Danube to the south, and the Galician Plain to the northeast. Cities and towns. Important cities and towns in and near the Carpathians are, in approximate descending order of population, highest peaks. This is a list of the peaks of the Carpathians having summits over 2,500 meters, with the heights, geologic divisions, and locations. Highest peaks by country. This is a list of the highest national peaks of the Carpathians, the heights, geologic divisions, and locations. Mountain passes in the Romanian part of the main chain of the Carpathians. The most important mountain passes are the Prisla Pass, Rodna Pass, Tihuta Pass, Tufas Pass, Baikaz Canyon, Gimes Pass, Uz Pass and Oituz Pass, Orzazu Pass, Predial Pass, Turnu Razu Pass, Vulcan Pass, Teragova Pass and the Iron Gate. Geology. The area now occupied by the Carpathians was once occupied by smaller ocean basins. The Carpathian Mountains were formed during the Alpine orogeny in the Mesozoic and Tertiary by moving the ALCAPA, Tisza and Asia plates over subducting oceanic crust. The mountains take the form of a fold and thrust belt with generally north vergence in the western segment, northeast to east vergence in the eastern portion and southeast vergence in the southern portion. The external, generally northern, portion of the orogenic belt is a tertiary accretionary prism of a so-called Fleisch belt created by rocks scraped off the sea bottom and thrust over the North European plate. The Carpathian accretionary wedge is made of several thin-skinned knabs composed of Cretaceous to Paleogene turbidites. Thrusting of the fly naps over the Carpathian Foreland caused the formation of the Carpathian Foreland Basin. The boundary between the fly belt and internal zones of the orogenic belt in the western segment of the mountain range is marked by the Pienone-Klippen belt, a narrow complicated zone of polyphase compressional deformation, later involved in a supposed strike-slip zone. Internal zones in western and eastern segments contain old Ovarisk igneous massifs reworked in Mesozoic thick and thin-skinned naps. During the Middle Miocene, this zone was affected by intensive calcaline arc volcanism that developed over the subduction zone of the fly basins. At the same time, the internal zones of the orogenic belt were affected by large extensional structure of the back arc Pannonian Basin. Iron, gold and silver were found in great quantities in the Western Carpathians. After the Roman Emperor Trajan's conquest of Dacia, he brought back to Rome over 165 tons of gold and 330 tons of silver. Divisions of the Carpathians. The largest range is the Tatras in Poland and Slovakia. A major part of the western and northeastern Outer Carpathians in Poland, Ukraine, and Slovakia is traditionally called the Beskids. The geological border between the western and eastern Carpathians runs approximately along the line between the towns of Mikołowska, Bardejov, Nowy Sącz and Tarnów. In older systems the border runs more in the east, along the line along the rivers San and Oslawa, the town of Snina and River Turia. Biologists, however, shift the border even further to the east. The border between the eastern and southern Carpathians is formed by the Predial Pass, south of Brasov, and the Prahova Valley. Ukrainians sometimes denote as Eastern Carpathians only the Ukrainian Carpathians, meaning the parts situated largely on the territory, while Romanians sometimes denote as Eastern Carpathians only the Romanian Carpathians part which lies on the territory, which they subdivide into three simplified geographical groups, instead of Outer and Inner Eastern Carpathians. These are Carpathians of Maramureș and Bukovina, Moldavian Transylvanian Carpathians, Curvature Carpathians. Notable people: Ludwig Greiner, an influential 19th-century lumber industry management expert who identified Cholokovsky Peak as the highest mountain in the Carpathians. Gallery